Hello friends, it's your girl Alina, and in this video, I'll be giving you your weekly astrology forecast for the week of April 1st through the 7th. We'll dive into Mercury going retrograde on Monday, Venus entering Aries on Thursday, and the very love and relationship centered Venus transits that will be happening all week. This is a brand new series that I'm trying out, so I'd love to get your feedback in the comments of what you think. I also make forecast videos about every month's full and new moon, so if that interests you, be sure to check out that on my channel. And with that said, let's dive into this pretty eventful week ahead. All right, so we kick off the week on Monday, a day that is ruled by the moon, which represents our emotions, our intuition, and a lot of our nurturing qualities. So this can be a perfect day in general for things like self-care activities, spending time with family, and connecting with our inner selves. Now, on Monday, the moon will be transiting Capricorn, which can tend to imbue this day and the next day with this air of determination, stoicism, and clarity around what matters from a more practical perspective. The moon will also be in its last quarter phase as it enters this waning time, which really offers a very optimal period for things like readjusting and really correcting course for anything that we might notice really needs that approach. Now, with that said, we also see that Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, and that will continue until the 25th of this month. So starting on Monday, when we see that Mercury goes retrograde, it's definitely the type of transit that will usher in a higher potential for mishaps, hiccups, especially when it comes to the realms of our lives that Mars influences. So that has to do with our communication. We might notice some miscommunication. When it comes to travel, it will be important to double check aspects of our transportation, whether it be our car, if you're taking a train, if you're getting a ride, making sure that things are in place. Mercury also rules over electronics and the internet. So making sure that a lot of our stuff is backed up, our memory, making sure that things are charged for maybe an important travel or something like that. All of those things, generally speaking, are what Mercury retrograde will be influencing. And when we want to get even more specific, all retrogrades in general, no matter what the planet is, have to do with karmic lessons. And usually when we have mishaps or issues come up, they are tied to lessons that we might not have learned over the course of previous retrograde periods. Each person, we all will experience Mercury retrograde a bit differently because of that, because we all have unique lessons to learn. And you can get even more specific by learning what house this Mercury retrograde will be transiting in the sign of Aries. Now, getting even more specific, looking at the fact that Mercury will be in the sign of Aries, there will also be a higher likelihood of potential frustration or feeling a little bit more impatient when we experience these Mercury retrograde sort of symptoms, so to speak. So it'll be really important to, if you do notice any hiccups happening, especially over the next 25 days, it will be so important to try to lean into pausing to process before reacting. If you notice that a lot of people are having their own moments or their own tantrums, creating a healthy space, healthy boundaries to allow them to process that, or maybe you might feel called to point out that this might be a lesson for them, to each their own there. But starting off the week with a Mercury retrograde, there's definitely a lesson in there in treading lightly, really taking our time with our emails when we send things, making sure to reread things. If we're not understanding it, we might just be misinterpreting it. Yeah, there will definitely likely be karmic themes around, again, how we communicate, how we advocate for ourselves and others as well. That's very much an Aries theme. And we might also have to face themes around whether we're initiating things too much or not enough. Again, another Aries theme. And so with that said, I really can't stress this enough. This isn't necessarily the time to be jumping into things without giving them a really good hard think. Mishaps, communications are likely to occur even with the best of ideas that we have. So really be sure to put intentionality into your actions. Okay, moving on to Tuesday, which is the day ruled by Mars, the planet of energy, action, and assertiveness. It'll be a really great day for tackling any challenges head on and initiating any new projects that you might have right now. We also see on Tuesday that in addition to Mercury being in retrograde, the moon will still be in the very practical and focused sign of Capricorn, really lending itself to the drive that this Mars-ruled day on Tuesday really offers us. So especially if you're looking for a good day for taking action and shifting things a bit in terms of how you do things for the better or for better results, then Tuesday can definitely be a great day for that. But it'll be important to remember to still proceed with caution, considering that Mercury will newly have been in retrograde. Next up, Wednesday, which is ruled by Mercury, in general is a great day for communication, our intellect, and any sort of versatility in what we're doing. So it can be a great day in general for things like networking, exchanging ideas, asking for help, and reaching out. And so with that understood, we know that Mercury's retrograde can likely be felt a lot more on this day for that reason, because it is Mercury's day. We'll also see that on Wednesday, Venus will be conjuncting Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Now this transit is one that can definitely heighten our emotional and intuitive sensitivities, really sparking things like romantic idealism and creativity. But it might also lead to potential escapism and sort of like an over-imagination when it comes to our relationships. So think of like over idealizing a situation, or on the flip side to that, kind of being really negative or pessimistic about a situation and letting your imagination kind of run wild in that way. And this is because we see Venus, the planet of love and relationships, coming together in the same sign of Pisces for this very amplifying conjunction with Neptune, which is the ruling planet of Pisces and is known for its influences on our imagination, our dreams, our spirituality, and all things that of illusion. So Wednesday overall can definitely feel a bit more dreamy in more ways than one. It can make it extremely easy for us to idealize relationships, but this transit can also help us to look to the future and manifest our desires, especially within the realms of our relationships, in a very constructive way in utilizing this Venus-Neptune transit. Now again, I'm going to keep talking about Mercury retrograde, but considering that it's happening and that we're also in the middle of eclipse season, there can definitely be a higher potential for confusion or even miscommunication within our relationships, especially the romantic ones. So it'll be really helpful to remember to communicate clearly and be mindful of these influences throughout the week. Also, if you find yourself maybe ruminating on things that you specifically don't want within a relationship, whether it be a familiar relationship, professional, romantic, or platonic, it'll be important to remember to pause and try to utilize that imagination to explore what you actually want and what you currently appreciate out of your current or previous relationships. And I say this because Venus conjunct Neptune can be a really potent time for manifestation. And the key to that is matching the vibration that you seek. And this can also look like exploring any energetic blockages and facing any shadows head on Wednesday by holding space for those experiences in a loving way and really allowing them to flow through you rather than letting them take up a home in you. We'll also see that the moon will have entered Aquarius on Wednesday, really offering us this sort of underlying air of confidence, especially when it comes to exploring innovative ways to approach things. Next up on Thursday, which is ruled by Jupiter, this lucky day, because it's a planet that offers expansion, growth, and abundance, this day can be very auspicious and benefic when it comes to taking steps towards and pouring into anything that we'd like to see expand in our lives. It could be really anything at all. So on this day, we'll also see that Venus will be entering Aries. So this is the type of ingress, this type of entrance into the sign that can ignite our passion, a sense of spontaneity, and our assertiveness, especially within the world of our relationships and our social interactions. So you might find yourself or others, especially this weekend, feeling a bit bolder, a bit more confident, and truly charming within your relationships. But just like a fire that blazes really bright, it can burn out a lot more quickly and can even be dangerous when it comes to our relationships. So consider using this time to express yourself, put yourself out there, but also remain aware of the potential of being blinded by passion or even rage, that being that Aries energy. And with things warming up in the Northern Hemisphere, with spring coming, everyone is venturing out a bit more. So don't be surprised if you notice yourself or others being a bit more direct when it comes to matters of love and just socializing. And on one side of the coin, this can look like there being this collective air of being more direct when making plans with people, especially the ones that we truly want to share time with. And we can find it a bit easier to even express how we're feeling and make sure that our needs are being met. Aries is really good at speaking their truth for themselves. But on the other side of the coin, there can also be a potential of this heightened emotional sensitivity where there can be a bit of impatience, frustration, or even a shorter sort of fuse when it comes to matters of love. And with Mercury, the planet of communication, being retrograde, and considering that communication is the key to all healthy relationships, being sure to pay attention to any karmic lessons that might come up, that we might be feeling called to face within these realms, will be very helpful. So definitely communicate in constructive ways to co-create the love and safety that you seek. And also don't forget to communicate your boundaries and any uncomfy feelings preemptively to prevent any potential blow-ups or build-ups that we see that Mercury and Venus being in Aries can bring about. All right, we have made it to Friday, the Venus-ruled day that's associated with love, beauty, and harmony. So for many of us, considering the current state of Venus in the sign of the fiery and assertive Aries, this Friday and weekend could be a great time to put yourself out there, giving and receiving connection, empathy, and love. I really think that this weekend can be one of strangers complimenting one another more, just everybody feeling a little bit more comfortable to put themselves out there, and for my single friends, potentially meeting or getting to know new people with a very lovely and direct air to the interactions will be helpful. We'll also see that the moon will be entering Pisces on Friday, really enhancing our sensitivity, our intuition, and our emotional empathy. But it'll also be important to be mindful, as it can also lead to a bit of moodiness or heightened inner callings for escapism. So overall, I really think that this weekend will be one that can foster a more intimate and loving time, especially for romance and connecting with your community. Next, on Saturday, ruled by Saturn. In general, it's a day that's really potent for things like discipline, responsibility, and structure. On Saturday, we'll see that Venus in Aries will be forming a sextile with Pluto in Aquarius. And let me tell you, this aspect is all about manifesting the good vibes. So you'll find that you might feel ready to manifest anything that you desire, whether it's wrapping up projects or heading out to parties. You'll feel like everything you need is right there within reach. That's really what this transit can imbue. So this can look like around the time of Saturday on this weekend, just realizing and getting a lot more clear on the resources, abilities, and things that you already have that are tangible to you. There's this sense of believing in ourselves and the people that we love a lot more. So when Venus, the planet of harmony, affection, connection, relationships, forms a sextile with Pluto, known for its more intense energy of transformation and depth, we can see a pretty potent aspect taking place and coming together. And it's one that can definitely ignite a pretty powerful sense of attraction, triggering deeper emotional experiences and stirring a desire for things like transforming and evolving our relationships and our artistic expression, especially if it's tied to our emotions. So Saturday can be a great time for embracing change, tapping into our authenticity, and opening up to one another. It's like we're experiencing this like cosmic nudge to break old patterns, to pave way for new ones. And considering that Venus is currently the very action-oriented sign of Aries, definitely don't be surprised to notice yourself or others making new connections and noticing sparks of motivation, especially when it comes to processing or diving deeper into your world of relationships and creative expression. Now, to best navigate this transit, definitely consider embracing things like honesty, openness, and transparency in your relationships. And that can look like exploring deeper emotional truths and allowing for more transformative experiences to take place. And with the moon still transiting the very emotional, imaginative, and intuitive sign of Pisces, any ideas or downloads within these realms will be ones that you'll definitely want to write down and pay attention to at this time. All right, and finally, we wrap up the week on Sunday, the day that is ruled by the sun and is associated with things like vitality, leadership. It can be a perfect day for things like relaxing, recharging, and honoring your personal power. And seeing that the moon will be entering Aries on Sunday, it can definitely bring a very fiery tone to the day. So being cognizant of our emotions running high can be very helpful as well. All right, y'all, that is it for this week ahead forecast. I would love to hear what you think in the comment section of like, if you like these videos, if there's anything I can add or take out, any feedback that is constructive, would be very much appreciated. And I just wanted to invite you once again to the Auraline retreat happening in Thailand this June. There are payment plans to make the finances more accessible. And we actually recently had like a group Zoom meeting for all the travelers. And this last week we were talking about our big three, what we're excited about for Thailand, you know, the inception of our relationship with astrology, and just really supporting one another, because there's quite a few people who are newer in the traveling space, and you know, we're all a little bit nervous. We're going to the other side of the planet. So if you have been curious about this retreat and you have any questions at all, be sure to click the link in the description box to learn more about the retreat. And then also, if you want to scroll to the bottom of that page, you can, you know, fill out the contact form and that'll directly email me and we can talk about any questions that you have. But yeah, with all of that said, I will see y'all in the next one. And if you made it this far, I would love if you commented 3 calendar emojis. But with that said, I will leave you with my favorite quote, and that is, be gentle with yourself, because life is about the journey and not the destination. All right.